I'll teach you everything you need to know about GUI basics in 5 minutes. GUIs, aka graphical user interfaces, are those images that you see displayed usually on your screen, and they don't move around even though the camera moves around, and they ask you to buy Robux and stuff. You know what I mean. Let me show you the different types and how to use them. First, you want to look at the service starter GUI, and in there add a ScreenGui. If you want anything displayed on the screen, you're going to need a ScreenGui, and you put that inside starter GUI because this will be duplicated inside the player. Every time a player joins, whatever's in here will be put inside that player, and then that player can see. That's why it's called starter GUI. Whatever you put in here, the player will start with. The most basic type of GUI element is a frame. Let's go ahead and add a frame, and you can see it at the top left. A frame is typically used as a background or to hold other elements inside of it, and you can put like another frame inside of that frame. You can nest them inside of each other. If I make the size small, see, you can put frames inside of each other. And now, if the outer one gets moved, the inner one will move with it, stuff like that. You can nest GUI elements, as long as it eventually leads up to ScreenGui. Next element we're going to add is a scrolling frame. This right here, you can see it's very similar to the regular frame, except this one has a scroll bar, and if there was stuff inside of here, we could scroll through them. But yeah, it's basically the same thing. This one can't scroll, this one you can scroll, you can see the scroll bar. The next two we're going to go over is the text label and the text button. The text label is used to display text. As you can see, it says label right here, and then you can customize it to say whatever you want, and just to display information like next round starting in 5 seconds or whatever information you want to let the player know. This is a text button. You see when you hover over this, it changes and the label doesn't. That's because the button is used for interactivity. If you want the player to click on it, if you want to detect when the mouse hovers it, and yeah, if you want the player to interact with a button, make it a button. If you just want to display information, make it a label. It's the only difference. They both display text. The image label and the image button are basically like the text label and the text button. The image is used just to display information, not for people to click on it. Like maybe the players voted on a map and you want to show them a picture of the map, you can use an image label. But if you want them to click on that image, say maybe you have like a icon to buy your in-game currency, then you want to use an image button. As you can see, when I hover over the label, the mouse stays the same. If I hover over the button, the cursor changes, and then you can detect when the player has clicked or whatever. So right now I have spaced out the frame, the scrolling frame, the text label, the text button, the image label, and the image button. But there are more ways to display GUI elements than just using a ScreenGui. A ScreenGui displays it on the screen, but you could also display it on like the surface of this part. Let me show you. If you take this part and add a SurfaceGui and then put all these elements inside of there, nothing happens because you have to find the right face. So this is placed on the front face. So let's find the front face. Oh, there you can see it. And let's go ahead and put it on the top. And now everything fits, and we'll get to that in a future video. I hate when people say that, like, oh, but we'll go over it, don't worry. You can see all the same exact stuff that I had on my screen on the parts. It basically just takes the part surface and pretends it's a screen. The last way is to put it inside of a Billboard GUI. And I'll just go ahead and put it in there to show you. Let me make this part transparent. And yeah, you can see how it displays the Billboard GUI no matter which way I'm facing. As long as I'm looking in this direction, it'll show it to me. And there's lots of properties you can do, like always on top. And then if I bring this part back, even though it's not transparent anymore, it'll always display the elements on top. I just changed the size of it so you can better see it. I'll go over that later. But yeah, you can see if you want something that's always displayed, it's kind of big. That's how you go about doing that.